Hello guys, it's Paul from eemanntech, and today I'm just taking a few minutes to have a chat to you about over travel in triggers, especially in the CZ. There's a lot of misconception and misunderstanding about how to feel how much over travel there is in a trigger and how to set it up. So I've got my S2 ready to go with the eemanntech flat trigger installed, and in this trigger, which we released late last year, we only have one adjustment screw, which is for the over travel. You can see it there. And what that means is that when we fire the firearm in single action there, which it won't fire, I've set it up to do that, the over travel is basically how much more the trigger travels backwards after the hammer has fallen. So I've set it up now to not fire, which means that screw needs to be wound out. And we get a lot of questions about this. So just wind that screw out a little bit with your hex key until the gun fires. There we go. She's firing reliably and in double action too. So now we want to measure that. So a lot of people, they get hold of the trigger and they gently squeeze it and they go, oh geez, there's a lot of over travel there, or there's very little over travel. Well, actually the pressure you've used to pull that trigger and fire it, you've just picked up on all that over travel and not actually measured or seen or felt how much there actually is there. And the way I do it is to have the gun ready in single action mode and use the meat on the trigger finger of your weak hand to go between the frame and the trigger itself. And when you manipulate the trigger with the thumb, you're pushing against and compressing that pad of the finger. So what happens is, if you get it right, and with a bit of practice it's easy, you can actually fire that pistol by pressing gently with your thumb and squeezing that, and you can stop the trigger at that point where it actually fires. Then any further movement in the trigger is over travel, which, as you can see in this example, there is none. So this trigger needs to be adjusted by unscrewing that grub screw to give the trigger a bit more over travel, because once it heats up or you get a bit of dirt in there, it may not reliably fire that or drop that hammer. So we're just going to wind it out a bit more, and I'm going to show you a little bit extreme so you can see that over travel. So we're going to rack the gun. I'm going to catch that trigger with the meat of my weak hand trigger finger, and I'm going to show you the over travel. So I'm compressing that finger. There it fired. Now I can press it further and see how much over travel there is. See that? If I was just doing it like this, I don't know how much over travel there was, because I've pulled through all of it right till the back of the frame. I now know with all that over travel that I can actually screw that grub screw in a bit further until I've got just the right amount of over travel to ensure reliable functioning of the trigger. There and there. I'm quite happy with that. I've got about just under 1 millimeter of over travel. The gun can warm up, get a bit of dirt in it. It can fire a few 100,000 rounds and it won't stop working. And I also suggest you put some Loctite on that grub screw. Blue is preferable because red requires heat to remove it. Another thing I want to show you quickly is that trying to measure the over travel by firing the gun and then letting it reset like this and calling that over travel is incorrect, because there's a lot of room there or space that's required for the sear and the hammer hooks to reset with the trigger bar, and that is not the same amount of space that it takes for the over travel. So don't try and figure out how much your over travel is by letting the trigger reset. That is not correct. The only way to do it is to grab that trigger, have it fire, and then from there, where we've actually stopped the trigger as it fires, we can see how much there is to go. I hope that was enlightening a little bit, and I hope you understand how to set that trigger up now. I'll do a similar video in the near future on the new ultimate trigger, how to set up the pre-travel and over travel. And I wish you a great day, good shooting, and see you soon. Cheers.